Okay, I think I'm back live. Hopefully people will be able to figure out that the live stream got restarted because we were randomly disconnected from our hotel's internet. Sometimes that just happens when you're in a hotel on the internet, you know? Your shit just cuts out because it wants you to log in over again, I guess. I don't seem to have image. Okay, there we go. I'm seeing the images now. Let me get my live chat going. Probably should retweet my tweet about how I'm live and shit. You know, just give everybody a minute. Bird went out to have a cigarette because he was very annoyed about the live stream restarting. Hopefully it won't happen again. Hopefully that's all we have to deal with in terms of live stream going down. There's only 4 people here right now, so I'm really kind of waiting for more. If you are, by the way, watching this before the previous upload of a live video that is also called episode 9 of the We Watch Anime podcast, this is part 2. The live stream went down, so, you know, if you want to hear us talk about Heavenly Delusion and, well, I mean, honestly, just wait for the edited version. This is why I edited specifically, is because things like this happen, where your internet goes out and suddenly you've got 2 separate videos instead of one. Very annoying if you're not making an edited version later. So, you know, I mean, it's very annoying anyways. It's annoying that I now have to edit together 2 different live streams.
Oh, it's so hot out there.
Bird just comes in. Oh my god, it's so hot. Alright, well, you know, again, most people watch this on either the video on demand or the edited podcast that comes out on the We Watch Anime channel. So it's not a huge deal if our concurrent viewers drop by half because of the fact that our internet cuts out, you know? It's not that big a deal. It's not annoying. It's not even slightly obnoxious. I'm lying. Well, anyway, I was talking about how much I love this scene in Hell's Paradise because this girl's just dancing with a parasol in a rain of heads. It's incredibly surreal. It's very different. I never would have conceived of such an image, and yet I'm surprised to have never seen it, which is how I always feel about anything I see that I'm like, wow, I'm like blown away that somebody came up with this and nobody else had. Again, I don't think it seems obvious. It's just like, you know, this is creativity at its finest for me. You're taking a bunch of things that make sense and are recognizable and doing something somehow different with it. Always fascinating.
All right, it's real trans hours, ladies and gentlemen. I'm breaking out the white monster.
Oh shit, it's White Monster. Let's go. Let's fuck up our DNA with this sucralose.
Whatever. Who knows if that's real?
Where did you hear that information about the sucralose?
I don't want JoJo's friend that I met in DC that one time.
Oh. I don't even remember who you're talking about.
Yeah, you didn't meet him. I don't really want to talk about him too much just because I don't think he would appreciate it.
Alright, well, so here's the fucked up monster that the Tencent turned into.
No, oh, sorry, I thought you were talking about the white monster. That is the best
monster. No. This is a fucked up monster. It's cool as shit, though.
It is really cool. We get to see the whole unfurling of it. I can't wait to see the other Tencents this form. They have a word for it. I forget what the word is. But yeah, this is very cool.
My final form.
I can only assume that the next episode is going to be an intercut between Sagiri and Yuzuriha fighting this guy, and Gabimaru and the tall guy fighting a different Tencent.
Yeah, that's probably gonna happen.
But so this happens, and Sagiri and Yuzuriha are basically like, fuck, we really have to fight this thing right now.
Yuzuriha's basically over it. Like, she went from I'll fucking kill God to I have to fight that I don't know.
I don't know if I'd fight God.
Just watch
actually.
Sent to Die also. Like, he's, now a flower.
He's a flower. But so, do you have a screenshot of what happens next, or? So the vines shoot out towards them, and Blind Man is here. Woohoo!
Yes, just in the nick of time when you're like, oh no, they're not gonna kill Yuzuriha after they just made her a badass. Nope. Blind Samurai shows up. I assume this means that the Islander girl is not far behind.
I would think so.
So,
but yeah, I'm excited to see them more.
It's
been a
cool
while.
to have some more paths crossing, more
It's
of our
been a
group getting
while.
together. So, I mean, at this point, all the important characters will be in just 2 groups, I think.
This is so actually to draw a comparison to Dead Mount Deathplay. Pretty much everyone has the exact same motivations in both shows, and they're all going towards the same thing. But this show, everyone has a very clear, defined personality and what they're after, what they're about.
This show is a billion times better than
Oh, yeah.
Dead Mount Deathplay. Anime scores. I always feel weird giving a score to a show because I've given scores to thousands of shows, and so like when I give like something a 6 versus a 7, it's like that means there's like 200 things in between those, like in this show, like the difference between this and Dead Mount Deathplay, this show I'd give like a strong 8 probably. Dead Mount Deathplay is like a 5, like
at best
a light 5. That's a huge difference. That is a world. That's thousands of anime worth of difference of quality. It's just really funny that they're both basically just trying to be badass. Like that's all they want is to have like a bunch of badass characters doing badass shit.
And I guess the
show is so much more
big
successful.
problem with Dead Mount Deathplay is no one's really that badass.
No, they all just stand around and fucking talk. They don't do anything. In this show, shit is constantly happening. It's breakneck like every time I think back to where we were at the end of like episode 3, I didn't think any characters were going to matter or survive except Gabimaru and Sagiri. And then like the next 10 episodes is just
establishing
making
all
us
the other
give
characters.
a fuck about like 5 or 6 other people, and yet also keeping their lives on the line. Slowly killing off the less cool ones until you're just left with the badasses.
That's another thing too. Is like this show, there is kind of always a constant fear that anyone could die, and in Dead Mount Deathplay,
they did such a good job of that. Dead Mount
It's not
Deathplay,
like
nobody
that.
will ever die. You have a necromancer as the main character. He could literally just bring your fucking ghost back to fight for him. There's no way a character can disappear from that universe. It's nuts.
It's like the opposite of actions have consequences. But yeah, that's that episode. It was very good.
very
I'm
good.
excited to see the ending. I'm sad that it's ending, but I'm glad it's coming back
Also
in
a show that
October.
needs more. Another show that like I feel I'm gonna have to give an 8, but could be a 9 if it continues to be badass. All right, this one I don't need to necessarily come back, but I
wouldn't mind it.
I
it's
wouldn't
kind
mind
of a
it.
weird
I just
ending.
don't need it.
So the last episode, all the magical girls powered up, and Shoban called them the Magical Destroyers. And this kind of expands on that, with Shoban basically explaining, Origin's the one behind all this, I'm in control, you're all NPCs, and thanks for raising the magical girls for me, because now they can destroy you very easily, very quickly.
I'm immediately confused with this episode, because 2 episodes ago, we, at the very end of an episode, watched all of the otaku die.
And they're all fine in this episode.
Why? Did something happen I missed in the last episode where they all got resurrected? I don't remember this happening. I remember it just being magical girls fighting for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much all I remember too. I mean, I don't remember them coming back.
Somebody please, if you're watching this and you're in the chat and you remember why all the otaku are just alive, or if that was ever explained, please help. Because this episode, at like the very beginning, just all of the otaku who went into the fight, who we watched die dramatically, are just back, and they won. They just like won the fight. They took over.
They killed all the
and then
SSG
they get a
clones.
call that's like, come back over here because the
Otaku Hero's getting his ass kicked.
Yeah, the magical girls are all crazy, and I'm just like, what the? Why are they alive? What the fuck is going on? Like, I know this show is weird. I know it's got a lot of metaphors, but this doesn't make any fucking sense.
Why all the otaku aren't deader?
I know both of us were having a hard time following the show.
I had a hard time following it this week, too. I just feel like it established more of what was going on.
Ellen says, I'm pretty sure it's not explained at all why they're back.
Okay,
it just doesn't make any fucking sense, I guess. That's the show. It doesn't make any fucking sense, I guess. You
get to see
Kyotaro's
origin.
Kind of looks like the girl that
Is Kyotaro not the name of the guy in
the other
in My Heart?
Yes, we've realized this like 4 times now. But Kyotaro, is Origin. Origin looks like the girl that that time I got reincarnated as a slime that Rimuru took the body of. And I don't know, I guess Origin just empowers whatever Shobon wants to do because why not? It's fun
because
or
she
mildly
is,
fun.
She is the one player in the game.
Right.
Shobon's the creator, he's the god, everyone else is an NPC, and Origin is the player because she's bored. Yeah, that literally seems to be what it is that she's bored.
She seems bored even with this scenario that is actually happening.
That seems to be explained a little more as we get later into the episode when stuff that Shobon did not put in the script starts happening, and we see Origin laughing her ass off.
Yeah.
Because, of course she's going to be playing a game with this asshole, too.
So, literally, Shobon's motivations are explicitly that Otaku made fun of his game, and now he wants to ruin shit for Otaku. Obviously, the Otaku don't want that. Otaku Hero gives this long-ass speech as the magical girls are fucking him up, where he's talking about how he just wants to like what he likes as much as possible.
Otaku. They all like something. They all just want to have a community around liking things, and there should not be as big of a problem as Shobon has with liking things. And then he goes on a whole rant about, you're just full of hate. You're just the worst guy. This game's a hate game.
I have to challenge Otaku Hero here.
Yeah, no, he's kind of wrong.
If you're supposed to like whatever you like as much as you like it, why not like hate as much as you like hate? Why not enjoy making this? Because the guy says, I love making worlds. I made this world. I'm having fun. And Otaku Hero is like, yeah, but you're having fun.
You're having fun at the expense of others.
Right. And I guess he thinks that all of the stuff they do is totally innocent, even though in episode 4 we explored how the one otaku is ignoring his children in service of participating in these hobbies.
Look, this show is strange because, the enemies are literal fascists.
Yeah.
And then they portray the otaku as mostly good. But they have, some real glaring problems.
Yeah.
And it doesn't...
But none of those are really explored in the ending. It's all just kind of absolved and, again, he literally just says, this game is made from an urge to hate, and therefore it's bad. And I'm like, the guy's just liking what he likes as much as he likes it, just like you. Maybe Otaku Hero would have had better odds in this fight if he had a different mentality. It's hard to say.
I hate. But yeah, so Otaku Hero gets stabbed through the chest by all 3 of the magical girls' things. He's dead. He dies.
There's a flashback that really sucks.
Well, it's the flashback to when it's Christmas, where, he's giving them the outfits and they're all shitting on him.
And then, she just fucking Anarchy goes into another big crying fit about how much she likes him and cares and,
in the flashback,
saying
not
the same
in the current.
shit over and over again. Yeah, every time she cries about him, it's the same thing since the first episode. I don't know. I found this weirdly annoying as the ending of this show because it wasn't nearly as, artsy or creative as the best episodes are. A couple of the early episodes were so fucking weird that I couldn't understand them, but I was still kind of drawn in.
Ellen makes a good point. This one is an example of a bad anime speech. He's just yelling. None of what he's saying is trying to bring down Shobon's view of things.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, he's just saying all of the things that made Shobon hate otaku and want to do this in the first place.
And I feel like we've been locked for the last 3 episodes in basically what to me reads like the writer of this show expressing, I've been given a show to write. And I don't know what it's about other than that I like anime and manga and stuff, and I don't like fascism. And, like, there's a bullheadedness to it that I appreciate, but I liked it more when it was doing, like, high fashion and art.
Yeah.
When, like, the point of it was that it's a vehicle to express weird shit. I think the episode with the little girl with the big brother was like a head that just transforms is the best episode of the show. In terms of, like, realizing what it was trying to do, of just, like, wacky, fun, expressive, crazy fighting, magical girls, otaku, commentary on the media, having something, like, kind of psychological and, like, weird and disturbed about it. This episode, the last few episodes, all feel like, all right, the show has to have, like, a big crazy ending, but, like,
so let's set up for that.
but it's not. It's so thin. Like, I'm thinking, like, I was hoping for something more along the lines of an Evangelion, where it ends with just, like, a crazy thought dump.
It kind of did end like Evangelion, because by the end of it, the magical girls are just, like,
Rounding
rounding up all of the otaku into a
speak
big
of
ball.
this, yeah.
There's the big ball.
Yeah, but like, Evangelion is like, hey, I made it through the story. Here's all the rest of the thoughts I have about that, you know, packed into a couple. You haven't seen the end of Eva, so you don't know what I'm talking about. But, like, it's really dense. And I don't necessarily think it's good, the last 2 episodes of Eva, but I was expecting this show to be similarly.
I don't necessarily think the episodes of Eva I've seen are good.
Fair enough. I was expecting this show to have more to say, and instead it feels like it had exactly one thing to say that it said over and over and over and over and over again, and sometimes it said it in interesting ways, but the last few episodes are basically just reiterating the point, but, like, with less intrigue, like, just kind of saying it more straightforwardly and not with as much intrigue.
In the few episodes I watched, this felt like a trigger show without the substance of one.
Yeah, and especially the ending. I'll talk about it in a second. So Otaku Hero literally dies. He just gets killed by the magical girls. They round up most of the rest of the otaku into a big ball. And they enter phase 2, where basically they're just even more in control. The bad guys have extra won. Until one day when...
It's a year after they have won.
Shoban's giving a victory speech, and, like, we've seen that...
Victory lap. Shoban's doing a victory lap.
We have seen that there is somebody trying to keep the spirit of Otaku Hero alive and, like, putting posters up about him and stuff. And then eventually a guy, you know, one of the otaku shows up dressed as him and just says, I'm the new Otaku Hero, and we're going to fight you guys, and it all continues.
It's kind of, I'm kind of happy that Otaku Hero II looks like an anime protagonist, as opposed to the first one who just looks like a dork.
I mean, this guy's got freckles. I think he is just one of the guys who was in the team.
Probably. But yeah, he's got a whole, like, team of 5 people with him, and they're ready to fight the magical girls. And so the one of the ending shots is, like, the magical girls charging at this group, and Otaku Hero II is just like, yeah, I'm not worried about it. And it's like, dude, they're magical girls.
Yeah, they're way more powerful than
They're
you
literally
guys.
Magical destroyers. They only do one thing. So I don't know what you're trying to do here.
Yeah. So Ellen already brought up what I was going to say. This is a lot like the ending of Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt. And that show, which, like, to me, there was an obvious comparison here from the start because of the fact that show's about anarchy. Panty and Stocking's full names are Anarchy Panty and Anarchy Stocking. But, like, that show, and it has a song about anarchy, you know, that show was actually anarchic. Like, it was actually way raunchier, way more extreme than Magical Destroyers, which seems kind of tame by comparison, you know, both artistically and in, like, how far it was willing to push the sex and violence and scat and just nonsense. And obviously Panty and Stocking was a bunch of very experienced creatives, you know, a coalition of, like, high artists selected by an experienced director. and this show is not that. At least not the same way. But like, the ending of Panty and Stocking is this just ridiculously shocking twist where, if I remember correctly, Stocking cuts Panty into pieces, just murders her, and becomes, like, reveals that she's a bad guy. And it's implied that there will be a second season to resolve all of that. And that has yet to happen. The ending of Panty and Stocking was so much more shocking than this. Like, the magical girls become bad guys, and so you're kind of like, okay, are they going to stay evil, or are they going to be turned back? Oh, okay, they stayed evil? Huh. You know? Huh. Like, yeah, okay. That's weird. Not very satisfying. Again, the end of Panty and Stocking was literally shocking and fucking hilarious, because it was actual anarchy on the part of the show to end that way. This is, if anything, very orderly. Like, the message is the cycle continues. Otaku Hero rises infinitely. The magical girls are like, they seem to be happy because Otaku Hero had promised he would return, but like, it's not literally him. He's conceptually returned. I don't know. It feels like they were trying to be deep and failing, and this show, it puts off the vibe of like, hey, we're not trying to be deep, you know, we're just trying to love what we love. But I think a greater expression of love for good stuff is to make something good. And I do think this show is good in its best moments. I would probably give this like a light 6, like a strong 5 to a light 6, because it has some really good moments, but it also has a lot of just kind of nothing burger to it. It became less interesting after, like, again, I would say the peaks were like episodes 3 and 4 were good. Episode 5 was pretty alright. The one with the head and the little sister was really fun, and the rest of it I honestly could have completely left. Like, I don't think it added to the message to have 12 episodes. I think this could have been a way more interesting, like, hour-long OVA or a movie that actually could have, like, used its budget and animation better. But as a full TV show, it just feels unnecessary. What would you score Magical Destroyers?
6.5.
Yeah, that's about where I would put it. What's your last review? Were you just like shitting in there?
Yeah, I'm not having a. I might
not
have
having
to
a
go
good
back.
stomach time.
Yeah, I don't know. I would really like to see where the second season goes, if that is something that is going to happen. I also don't know that I would like to see where the second season goes.
I don't think there's going to be another season of this. Who wants another season of this? I just rushing right back. All right. Well, that's it for Magical Destroyers. Oh yeah, got to keep on loving is the final message. 'Cause, you know, Cowboy Bebop, see you Space Cowboy, you're gonna carry that weight. You gotta have some kind of ending last title card. Gotta keep on loving. It feels weird that this message appears when it does. Like, I don't know. The last scene of the show doesn't communicate got to keep on loving to me. Just a very messy, uncoordinated show. It feels like a first draft of a inexperienced writer that had some energy and passion poured into it that rubs off and has like a kind of charisma to it, but ultimately feels juvenile and well, I don't even know, not juvenile, sophomoric, I guess is the word. I don't know if those are that different of words. Amy Worrell says the only thing I think I'll remember will be the characters eating the mascot endlessly in the snow mountain. That was the best part of that episode. Alright, well, Bird is apparently having stomach issues and has gone to the bathroom. And I want to eat a slice of this pizza that we have. So I'm going to do that. And this is, I guess, another thing that can be edited by whoever ends up editing this podcast. It might just be me. I might just end up doing it in the morning. It depends. I'm gonna eat that slice of pizza now. It's from a place called, what is this? Simple Simon's Pizza. Established in 1983. Celebrating 40 years. It's not bad. It's not amazing. It's weird. Got an odd crust.
Pizza is the problem. Too much cheese. Anyway, okay, here we go. Mashal. This isn't the last episode of Mashal, is it?
No, there's one more at least.
It's really good. This is a great episode because I kind of been expecting the whole fighting the doll guy to take 2 episodes and be a whole fucking fight. And, you know, as usual, Mash just kicks his ass immediately. It's great. It's wonderful. So, basically, this episode starts off with Abel. Abel is his name. Abel basically explaining, like, hey, Mash, you can't use magic. And Mash, as usual, goes, I can use magic while hiding.
He doesn't come to that conclusion, he doesn't state it out loud. Mash gets away with it. But I do love that it's a character trait of his that when he is even accused of anything being weird, he immediately, like, makes it obvious that something is weird. It's adorable.
It's very cute. Mash is the best. So, Abel goes on a big speech about how, inferior genes are bad, basically. I don't like people with worse genes than me. They suck. And that, you know, bad take. But he goes on to basically explain, like...
I guess he'd be called a eugenicist? Yeah?
He's not killing people.
He's using the weak... He sees the weak as nothing but literal puppets.
Yeah.
To have their power sapped.
Yeah, he's sucking, like, at least 100 students' magic out of them. His powers are so strange. Because, like... I mean, it's magic, I guess, so that can be excused. But he turns people into dolls and then absorbs their power or something. So it starts with Mash, or rather, Abel's explaining inferior genes suck, blah, 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 blah. My mom used to really care about poor people. She was born as a...
That's way later.
That's way later? Oh, shit, okay. Sorry, it blends together. Mash starts sending out God damn it.
Take a second. Breathe. Stop thinking about how much you have to poop.
I don't.
Or how bad the poop was.
Abel sends a bunch of puppets after Mash. And also, the whole time this fight is going on, Love Cute is just kind of watching from the doorway, like, cheering on Abel. And
she happens to enter the room and be like, oh shit, they're fighting. Oh, fuck. But now she's the spectator.
She's enthralled. She wants to see what happens. And, so initially Abel sends out the regular dolls and Mash kicks their ass, and then he sends out dolls filled with acid, and Mash somehow figures out which dolls are filled with acid and just launches them towards the other dolls. Or no, that's not what it is. He just launches one of the acid-filled dolls towards the rest of the dolls, and they all dissolve. After that, Abel sends out his really strong dolls, which, you know, Mash also fucking kicks the ass of. And then Abel starts to, like, use his magic, and so the first thing he uses is... I think his spell is like Marioness, but I don't remember exactly what it is. He uses Marioness control or whatever, and Mash is controlled by strings, and Mash immediately breaks these strings pretty easily. Then Abel uses, I think his name is Finn, right? Mash's roommate is Finn?
Yeah.
Finn Ames. So Abel has Finn turn into a puppet and starts having Finn as a puppet come after him with axes, while also explaining that Mash is not allowed to hit back because if he does, he will just destroy Finn. Mash, you know, takes a couple hits. The axe that Finn is carrying breaks before it does anything to Mash, which is like, no. I mean, I get it. He's strong. No. So, Mash takes out his gold coin and says, "This is what you want, right?" And Abel thinks he's won and goes, finally, you've decided to come to your senses.
In
and
1
give me the
second,
coin."
ads will run for some of you. Go!
And then Mash, just launches the coin, cuts the strings, and the scenario is done. And so Abel realizes, like, fuck, I gotta actually use magic on this guy. Which, why wasn't he just doing that in the beginning? He's done it for so many weaker people to just do what he does, which is just turn Mash into a puppet. So he turns Mash into a puppet, and what?
I think you got ahead of me, actually. He kneed him in the face.
He got a hit in before he got turned into a puppet? I didn't know that. Okay.
Well, because that's what made the guy do it. It's
I
like
see.
So Mash, he was using the coin to, break the strings on the other guy's shit. This episode, we're, halfway in at this moment. It's just one big fight scene, but it's one of the better ones we've had lately. Because this show has been, fight after fight the last few episodes. Some of them are really funny. Usually it's just Mash's fights are hilarious and the other fights are more serious, and the serious fights are not as interesting.
But I would say even at least with Dot, they're kind of funny, because Dot's just an asshole. I mean, rather...
Sure, the characters are funny in that they have funny personalities, but with Mash, the way he deals with the situation is usually a combination of badass and hilarious. Where he didn't just destroy the marionettes, he took one of his head and used it as a bowling ball to bowl it into the other ones. There's always some element of comedy, but then there's also the moments where this guy gives the whole rant to him about inferior genes, and then Mash is he remembers some stuff about his granddad, expressing a different sentiment.
We get some flashbacks to Mash as a kid and his granddad.
Yeah.
And, the only thing we've seen of Mash's granddad at this point is him being a really fucking old guy.
Mm-hmm.
And when it cuts back to Mash's childhood, he looks like beginning of middle age at best.
Yeah, and then he just suddenly is old as shit. But, I guess he just went bald all at once. Or started
But he got a
shaving his
hunchback
head.
too. He just looks like an 80-year-old man. You don't age 30 years in 5 or 10.
But some people do.
I guess, yeah.
Mash remembers this stuff about his granddad, expressing an opposite sentiment, and is like, you know what? I don't think our values align. And so they continue fighting, and some of the stuff he does is funny, flipping the coin and everything. And he's like, I guess this coin just likes me because it keeps coming back.
Yeah.
But then he finally just knees him in the fucking face, and this is one of those just bam, badass, hard ass moments the show does so well.
Hits him
too.
somehow. Oh, he breaks all his fucking fingers.
Yes,
because he's breaking the strings, so he bends backwards 3 of the guy's fingers,
yes,
and then knees him in the face. I knew there had to be something,
and it's I guess painful enough that even though the guy has no emotional expression in response, he uses a spell
called Marionette
that makes him a marionette. I really would love either a doll of Mash normal or a doll of Mash doll.
Yeah,
doll Mash.
Doll Mash is pretty cute. But so I think what happens here is Abel tries to reach for the shoe cream keychain that Lemon made for him. And Mash has... I mean, they go into great detail explaining this. I don't quite remember what it is. But Mash has a spinal reflex. And basically how they choose to explain this is pretty science-based, which is interesting, because it was almost like watching Dr. Stone for a second. But basically... a spinal reflex happens to protect the human body from danger. For example, if you were cooking and you, reached too close to the fire or something, you would, instead of, having the thought process to just reach your hand back, your spine would go, ow, that hurts. Or rather, it's explained that it is a way for neurons to more quickly react than the brain has time to think of a reaction to, I believe. And so Mash had such a strong reaction to this guy trying to take his shoe cream that he... I think it's punches him in the face or something. Let's see what the next slide is. Yeah, so he's still got a doll hand here. But, Mash has a reaction. He becomes not a doll. And, having this reaction is what causes Abel to go into a whole thought spiral and explain how his magic works and the spinal reaction thing. But basically, Abel's magic superficially turns these people into a doll whose magic they can leech off of, but under that doll exterior, they are still human. And so, you can still reflex to things, I guess, is the point. Anyway, Mash reacts. He's a really strong doll. He is happy that his cream puff is alive. And, Abel and Love Cute are just fucking astounded by this. They're really concerned.
Yeah.
So this causes Abel to break out his big magic, which we have learned is I think we learned it first with Lance Crown and Mudman, but their family magics increase in spell powerfulness, they use so Marioness and then Marioness second. I'm sure thirth is probably a thing too. I don't know. We haven't gotten there, but so. Abel summons a really big doll. Oh, what does that mean?
What?
That weird little yellow thing.
That's just VLCU.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I don't trust programs. Abel summons a 3-headed doll monster giant thing and explains that this is my ability that turns anyone within 100 meters into a doll as soon as the strings touch them. You cannot see the strings. And Love Cute pretty much immediately realizes, fuck, that means me. And Mash is not concerned about it. He just, he will... Okay, wow.
Ultimately, he suplexes this man.
Yeah, so what happens is, rather, it's deduced by Love Cute that the strings were moving so fast and Mash couldn't see them, so what he did was he, contorted his body in a weird way so that one of the strings hit his left arm first, and he couldn't control that anymore, or right arm or whatever. So he uses the other arm to immediately rip out all of the strings because he knows where one of them is. So that happens, and then Abel's like, what the fuck? What's going on? Mash kicks the ass of the big fucking doll thing he summoned and shoots it at Abel, and Abel's still like, what the fuck? And then Mash gets behind him, and I forget exactly what it's called, but Mash now has a spell name for his suplex.
Yes.
And I was so happy about that. Ruggy. Let me see how we're sounding.
We're probably doing fine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's green there, so I don't care.
Yeah, Mash suplexes this man out of his entire, he has to remember his whole past.
So we learned that Abel's mom was born into nobility, and she was always doing charity acts, feeding poor people, and so on. So Abel did grow up kind of... Wow, you really just cut straight to the thing. Abel grew up with a compassion for poor people, and then one day, while his mother was handing out soup, there was a guy who was hoarding all of the soup for himself, and as a result, he stabbed Abel's mom. The man then goes on to explain that, or rather, he doesn't explain, he just kind of says, consider this comeuppance for being so lucky all your life. And so, yeah, I get that sucks. That's a really shitty thing. My big problem with it is, how the fuck does Abel know that guy said that?
Yeah. Where did he hear this story
why
from?
would you tell a kid that?
I just think it's funny that every time somebody gets their ass kicked in this show, they immediately reflect on every key moment in their life. And why
have you ever had your ass kicked?
No,
it does happen. I mean, it's your life flashing before your eyes. It's only happened to me once, but
yeah. So it's
I would say not recommending you get your ass kicked, but the results of getting your ass kicked can be a little better than therapy sometimes. At least in my case.
Well, I like getting my ass consensually kicked.
Okay.
In Mashal, it's really funny because this ordinarily, a shonen arc might end with recruiting the bad guy onto your side. This arc does not do that.
I think it's going to. I think Abel's probably going to be fine and be around.
Maybe. I just know Mashal's not allowed to beat him to death, I think, within the rules of this show.
I just don't really think Mash wants to beat people to death. He wants to beat them until they stop being an inconvenience for him.
And he even says he thinks there must be something good about this guy because it seems like he just cares about his mom as like the core of it.
Yeah.
I think Mash is being a little too forgiving.
No, he's being a little generous there.
Yeah,
you know?
This guy is kind of a fucking monster and literally like a genocidal like what's the word for eugenicist is I think what I said earlier. Yeah, he's not the greatest guy, but he also doesn't. It's interesting. The show portrays him as like actively resistant to self-reflection. There's a part where Mash basically says to him like, "We don't agree on anything," and his response is, "I wish you would stop nitpicking my ideals." And I'm like, he's not nitpicking. He is rebuking.
Do you think that's just like a translation thing?
It could be, but I think whatever word he must have chosen must have at least been similar because that's such a particular word to use. Like,
man, we need someone who speaks Japanese on this show.
It's true. I just thought that was an interesting piece of dialogue. Like, it seems like because even after the fight's over, like the guy, his conclusion. Because Mash says early on, if I beat you, it means you're inferior to me genetically, right? And, like, ultimately...
Well, he says that right before he beats him.
Yeah, and it seems like ultimately, yes, that is
that's the whole point of the
guy
show.
Sees it. It's like, oh shit, well, you did beat my ass. I can't beat you. So, yeah, I will give you back your friends. I don't agree with you. I don't see things your way. I still think that the strong live to rule the weak. But you're stronger than
the weak must fear the strong.
So I guess I must fear you.
I think right before Abel gets his ass kicked, he goes something like, it's the responsibility of the weak to defend themselves. And then the weak fucking destroy his ass.
Yeah.
But so anyway, Mash was only fighting this guy to get Lemon back, that turns out. And if you don't remember, because it's been like 3 episodes, the whole reason they're in this dungeon is because they were following Lemon down a hall and she disappeared.
Right.
So anyway, they get Lemon back. It's Mash, Lemon, and Finn, and so this is after Dot shows up as well, but initially it's just like Mash, Lemon, and Finn like doing a little victory dance.
They're literally just celebrating, and
Abel's just standing in the corner like, these people are fucking fools. These people are idiots. What the fuck? The
friend is pointing at Mash and going, "Hero, hero," and then she's pointing at
Lemon,
husband,
and Mash is just like shoe cream or something like that. Like, I love Mash. He's so much fun.
He is absolutely like
top tier. There has to be like a solid
protagonist.
minute of victory lapping of just like, woo, we did it.
Yeah.
Woo, we did it.
It keeps cutting back to it too. Like, it cuts to another scene, and then at the very end, just back to them celebrating still.
Yeah. I do like how emotionless Mash looks here, because like smiling, but has his face caved in, and then Mash is just like standing there, like obviously happy, but not smiling. I wonder if we'll ever see him smile. Okay, so Finn's older brother, with the spider that reads magic or whatever, comes across what is initially believed to be Lance Crown, the blue-haired guy.
At some point, everybody's celebrating. It's like, wait a minute, we have another friend. Where the fuck is he?
Yeah. And then we cut to that. Finn's older brother shoots a sword at this guy, and this guy just blocks it immediately, and the spider goes, magic counter broken, or something like that. Like, it's too high.
Amy says, "What happened to my boy Dot?" I can't remember how his face got caved.
Yeah, I don't really remember either.
He just kind of shows up with a caved-in face, and I'm like, wait, when did that happen? I don't remember.
So, it is revealed that Lance, at least this version of Lance, I do think Lance is still around and fine, but this version of Lance we are seeing right now is a member of Innocent Zero, which is, I guess, a terrorist group. I think it's also a person, because they've been alluded to in the singular before as, like, one of the guy's students. I don't remember the guy's name, but there's, like, 3 people that studied under this guy, and they all have weird magic. This person with a thorn of crowns, it's unclear what their gender is, so I'm just going to refer to them as they.
Seems like just like an Orochimaru type, like a
hot.
Very sure, yeah. I mean, yeah, I love this character design. Dark circles under the eyes, makeup, kind of masculine.
Those are my 2 best looks.
Feminine.
Actually, those are all my best looks. You're just describing me right now.
cool hair, literally wearing a crown of thorns like Jesus Christ.
The earrings are awesome too. Like they'd be inconvenient as hell.
Well, I guess those are earrings. Yeah.
So anyway, whatever. Blocks the magic. Ames, the senior, just kind of fucks off, I guess. And we learn that this person is going after MASH. Well, or no. They've been working. Innocent Zero has been working with Abel, so this person is here to kill Abel.
Don't forget about this man.
And then
a giant knife, kitchen knife comes falling from the sky.
Ames the senior goes after this person to try and stop them.
Yeah.
And then a giant kitchen knife, much in the same way that we've seen his swords, I don't remember what they're called, just kind of comes out of the sky and goes in front of him. And then this guy shows up with a fork and knife and just goes, "I'll be your opponent, the serial killer and cannibalist, John Pierre." And you know, part of the reason I like about Mashal so much is there's not a lot of exposition. But couldn't this guy have just like been mentioned at some point in like a newsreel throughout the show, so we had a concept of who he was? I guess this is enough, but so hot is not a word that comes to mind when I think of Orochimaru. Well, I don't know. Anyway, this guy's
Bird happens to look a lot like Orochimaru. I'll just say
I could be paler if I was going for that.
Cosplay. He's probably shorter than you, but otherwise,
I never got. Anyway, John Pierre.
He's not short. He's just shorter than you.
Sure.
Most of the Naruto characters are fucking tiny. They're the smallest little boys in the world, and I know why.
5'10".
The author of Naruto also very tiny man.
Who's the tallest person in Naruto?
That's a good question. I feel like Jiraiya's pretty tall.
Fuguki Tsukazan?
I don't know that character.
I don't know who that is either. Sasuke is 6 foot.
That's not that tall. You're still 5 inches taller than Sasuke. Anyway.
Kakashi seems to be pretty tall too. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Kakashi is fairly tall. Alright, yeah.
So this guy shows up and Ames the senior just freaks out and is like, "Oh my god, he's on the level of a divine visionary. I have to fight this fucker now?" Because, you know, Ames the senior is a very bored-seeming character. He does not want to be here. And
this guy is a serial killer and cannibalist.
And he announces himself as such. He goes, "I am the guy you're going to be fighting." You know, the serial killer and cannibalist, John Pierre.
He's wearing a gigantic
dinner napkin.
Yeah, napkin in his shirt.
No, it's really funny. I like this character.
You know what this suddenly feels like to me is Soul Eater.
Yeah, no.
This feels like the start of an arc of Soul Eater.
Do you remember like the fight where Stein and Medusa are in like this exact scenario, and it's just so reminiscent of it. I like it a lot. I liked Soul Eater a lot. My problem with Soul Eater is that why didn't they just continue it instead of giving us a fucking bullshit ending about how friendship is important or whatever?
The manga was still ongoing.
I don't care. Like, wait a minute. You know, just hang out. Wait, chill out.
At the time, Studio Bones was not known for doing long-running shows.
My biggest problem with it is just like I hear that Soul Eater got fucking weird and incredible and fun after that.
The sad part is. Yeah, so having read some of the manga, I haven't finished the manga because after the part I was at, supposedly it kind of goes downhill. But immediately afterward, like, the anime ends when they were in the setup period for the Arachnophobia arc. The Arachnophobia arc is just the best fights in the series. Like, every single character gets their best fight against one of these bad guys.
Is that in the show? That's not in the show, right?
Like, they were setting up for this arc, and then the show just ends, because... I made it to episode, I think, 41 out of 50, and it was like right as they were starting up like a 25 chapter arc of badass shit happening.
Yeah.
And it just kind of gets through a little bit of that setup, and then whoop, main bad guy shows up, and now it's over, and
Woohoo.
Everyone hated that.
Yeah, no, it was. I hadn't even had a concept of the manga or anything. Actually, the only reason I know why the manga is so cool is because I watched the ending of Soul Eater, and I was like, I think I was saying this to myself out loud, like yelling as a 15-year-old, just like, what the fuck? Why did you just do that? That doesn't make any sense. What? It's been about friendship the whole time? It's about the friends we made? No, it isn't. No, it isn't. It has to be more than that. It just has to be more than that. And it is.
I have a theory. I do think Soul Eater, literally, that anime single-handedly ended the practice of anime original endings for manga adaptations.
It's terrible.
Because it was way more common before that. Like,
Trigun, Full Metal Alchemist.
Yes, Trigun, Full Metal Alchemist, the original, which was Studio Bones as well.
Those bastards.
Fucking Claymore was an infamous example. Like, basically, Studio Madhouse, they reputationally were like, we don't want to do multiple seasons of shows unless it's Hajime no Ippo, which they love making.
What is that?
It's a
They're
boxing
fighting
anime.
Okay, yeah.
But otherwise, like, they usually didn't make more than a certain amount. Got really fucking sick of that shit. And, not long after Soul Eater ended, Studio Bones relaunched Full Metal Alchemist and just totally redid it to follow the manga all the way through. And not too long after that, they started My Hero Academia, which they've been adapting for like a fucking decade now. So I just think the culture shifted after that to, alright, well, like, we have to follow the manga or else people are going to hate the anime forever. But if we have to take breaks, we take breaks. Like, everyone hates filler, because that was the 2000s, was Naruto, Bleach, and One
Dragon
Piece.
Ball Z.
And Dragon Ball Z, adding in filler arcs, or just making it take forever for anything to happen. And now it's like, we have stuff like this where I'm really hoping, because this is only planned to be 12 episodes for now, but like, it's a fucking Shonen Jump manga. There's no way this is the end. There's no way they didn't
You're talking
plan...
Mashal?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this show needs... this show definitely has the legs to go the distance.
Yeah.
I know that it's still ongoing, and it's gotten a lot farther.
There's no way they were adapting this not planning to make more than just 12 episodes of it. Like, at the rate they've been doing it, it feels like Dr. Stone. It's the same type of adaptation of a Shonen Jump manga that, like, it looks really good, but also there's, like, clear places where they're taking...
They just take a lot of time to explain the mechanics they're working with. Just to really explain, like, MASH doesn't have magic, but in a slightly ridiculous, mostly ridiculous way, this is how he can overcome that with physicality. Which is great. I think it's fun. I'm not against, like, let's all get buff, is basically what I'm trying to say.
Alright. What's the next anime? Wait, not done.
After this Jean-Pierre thing happens, we cut back to the Crown of Thorns person rushing towards MASH, and the group just, having a little victory lap again, and then it ends. Sorry.
Alright. Oshinoko.
Hey, guess what? It
anime.
sucks.
We're gonna go through this pretty quick.
This gets a second season, doesn't it?
Probably. I mean, I don't think they've announced it yet. There's still another episode left, but the next one should
I hope
be
they
the last.
don't announce it.
God, they probably will. This whole episode is just Kana hating herself.
Which,
Again.
half of the episodes have been that by this point. So that's really fun and enjoyable.
I hate this character. And when I say hate, I mean that the way, hate is a powerful emotion. Many people say it's the opposite side of the coin of love. You only hate someone if they reflect your own negative traits or if you want to love them but they make it impossible. That's the kind, like, I want to love Kana. She should be great. She's foul-mouthed, she's cynical, she's really cute.
But she really hates herself.
But yeah, her...
And I will say, this is not unrealistic of people.
No,
like,
it's just fucking annoying to watch ad nauseum in the show when it's beating me over the head with the fucking point, and I get it. I don't... Watching her hate herself doesn't make me like her more. It makes me like her less.
Yeah.
And the
just
more
like
you
real
make
life.
me sit through it, the more I don't care that she's going to turn herself around, because I don't want to fucking be around her. She's a downer. I feel the love that the author has for this character. Like, I can really feel...
Look, I'm a big Maddox fan, so that is untrue. That is a joke. But,
I was a big Maddox fan.
Yeah, I know. That's unfortunate for you, isn't it? I, despite not being a Maddox fan, always have him talking about the sunk cost fallacy in my head. Because Maddox loves to talk about fallacies, which is, fucking hilarious for someone who is a walking fallacy. But, like, just this whole show feels like the sunk cost fallacy, especially because I spoiled this show for myself after we watched the first episode. Because I was like, I really need to be invested. I can't watch an idle show. Love Live's fine. I've seen some Love Live, and it's okay.
It's
but
not fine.
It's fine. Anyway, when I learned about where this show, or the whole point of the show, he's trying to find his mom's killer.
Yeah, supposedly.
And I just kind of spoiled the whole thing.
That doesn't come up in this episode at all.
Yeah.
What the fuck did they even talk about at the dinner in the last episode? When he met with the director, they never fucking said anything.
It was like, hey, she was a country bumpkin. She didn't know how to dress. They didn't really say anything,
they just
actually.
cut away from the scene and never cut back.
This show, I'm sure we'll get a cut back to it. This show really sucks.
I hate this show.
We're still on the first slide.
Well, this is like already 4 minutes in because it's literally, it opens with them explaining to her, like, it starts off, they tried to catch her on video while they're saying that she's going to be the lead, and she's like, turn off the camera, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And then they explain everything that happened in the previous episode.
Which is really fun.
And then Kana argues for like 3 minutes about why she won't be the lead, and then cut to her being the lead.
Yeah, shocker. She's the best singer. She's the best everything. Why the fuck wouldn't she be the lead? I mean,
and then she continues bitching about having to be the lead for about 15 fucking minutes.
And so, hey, Pieon comes back. That's great. Oh my god, I love Pieon. He's such a fun character. I'm so happy he's back to train the Idol girls. So Pieon comes back, and he's training the Idol girls, and basically what he has them do is I think it's like you have to run up and down a hill 3 times, and then perform your set 3 times. Or no, it's just you have to run up a hill and then perform your set 3 times, because the biggest thing as an idol is stamina. And so you have to be able to perform your set even when you're the most exhausted you could possibly be. And Pieon, as usual, is adorable. He's a fun character. We really like him.
Yeah. This is so enraging what happens.
We'll get there. It's not clear at this point what we're coming to, but you did guess it about 5 minutes after this. So Pieon and the girls are like in an apartment together because they're done with their training for the day. The 2 other girls, what's her name? Ruby and Mem? Yeah. Ruby and Mem are just kind of having fun, dancing around, doing whatever, and Kana is sitting out on the balcony being like, they don't know that I had a singing career. And so Pieon comes up to her and basically goes, you don't really like bell peppers, do you? Or they just start, having very similar things in common.
Scene.
And so
Pieon, you remember, big, huge bodybuilder. Now, the way that he's being drawn in this scene, in this moment, in this shot, like, he doesn't look as big as I remember.
Yeah.
But he does look pretty big, right?
Yeah,
in this shot.
I wouldn't have called it, but anyway.
You wouldn't have thought that was a teenage boy you've been watching for the entire show based on this shot. Is he wearing like a rig or something? Because he can't be, because the remark that Ruby has as she's looking out the window is, I remember Pieon being like a really buff guy, but I guess he's actually just like about the same size as... Look, Kana and Ruby both trained with Pieon. They met him in person. He's fucking huge. He is
He's a fitness YouTuber.
Way larger than Aqua. And yet, neither of them realizes...
Hang on. We'll get there. Real quick. Kana and Pieon are having a real sweet moment, and Kana goes through this whole mind spiral of like, well, maybe I don't need to put all my chips in on Aqua, This guy makes 100 million yen a year, which makes him a real possibility.
She's having total gold digger thoughts about Pieon, because she's like literally just realizing she connects with him. She's like, I should abandon the guy that I like and start flirting with this fucking dude because we have anything in common. Why would you think he's interested in you, bitch? Like, what are you fucking talking about? She's like imagining that she's just got a chance with this guy. She's not even of age. He is supposed to be an adult.
It's a big problem.
Why does she think she can get with this dude? She's so fucking weird.
I mean, how old is she? Because like she
16, 17 at the most.
That's the age of consent in Japan. They just
Not
changed
on a national level. Wait, what? Did they really?
They changed it from 13. Yeah, now it's like 16 or 17.
In most places, it's 18.
I know. I'm just
I'm just saying. Look, she just I hate people who write badly because it's so hard to express to people who are stupid,
So
like who
I'm
just
particularly
don't care.
curious. We had watched Kaguya-sama Love is War at the beginning of our relationship, so I felt
Yeah.
it very relatable to me at the time. But having watched this show now, I really want to go back and watch like as many episodes as I can until it starts to bother me. Because I'm sure it will now. I mean, that show is done better than this one, but
It's funny because I did not like Kaguya-sama when it came out, but when you and I watched it together, I appreciated the humor a lot more. I just think that show was concentrated and had like a clever idea, and this show is just scattershot fucking. It's a person who is obsessed with the industry, who's obsessed with the entertainment industry, who's probably a fan of idols, who's probably a fan of actresses, and who has all these really strong emotional opinions about the way that those people are treated by the industry, by fans of the industry, and he wants the truth to come out. He's like, I want people to understand the actual emotions, the actual situations that these entertainers are going through. And every once in a while, in the process of that, he touches on something real. There's like a little bit of, okay, this is something that people really go through, or here's something that maybe you didn't know about the industry. Maybe there's something that, like, there's just like little glimpses of, okay, I get why you wanted to make this story because you get to tell people about this, but so much of it is just so obnoxiously misunderstanding because this person isn't an actor, they're not a part of the industry. It's all like random tidbits of information that somebody knows, and then like their idea of how somebody would feel about that rather than like the reality of how somebody feels about that. It's obnoxious. Here's an example of what I'm talking about. They go to a festival, and there's
the whole episode is building up to this.
Yeah.
Actually, the whole 2 episodes
Yeah.
have been building up to this. It's their first performance as idols. And so they're finally here. They immediately break down and are like, what if people think that we're just the stupid idols that are only there because we had industry connections?
Even before that, just like they show up at the venue and they're explaining the venue. There's a bunch of girls like putting on makeup and shit all over the place. And there's like a long-winded explanation of what well, of course all the minor acts have to share one big dressing room while the major acts get their own rooms and blah 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 blah. And like the way the show's presenting this, again, very sympathetic, like performers, it's not always all glamorous. But all I could
You
think
sounded
was
like John Mulaney just now.
all I could think watching the scene is like, this seems like a pretty decent dressing room. Like, what's the like, Kana says we're packed in here like sardines. No, you're not. There's not that many people, and the space is fucking huge.
Oh,
they
right.
have partitions to change
Yeah.
behind. I've been to American concert festivals where they're usually outdoors, where usually, like, the backstage section is, I don't know, they pulled up everybody's vans behind the stage, like, there's not usually, like, a nice, huge, air-conditioned dressing room everybody can hang out in like this. I don't know. It just seemed... to me, it feels like the author got an insight into something and felt like it was less glamorous than their idea of how things are supposed to be. But it's not. The entertainers don't fucking deserve anything extra. They don't deserve life to be glamorous and great because of the fact that they fucking look good. I just think this show is overly sympathetic towards people in the entertainment industry, which is not an industry that like deserves to really exist, other than in that not in the way that it does, I guess I should say. Like, entertainment is great, it does a lot of good things for people, but it doesn't mean that you get to
really, really bad things for people too.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Pauly Shore?
And it doesn't justify getting to live as like a special person or
So here's
under
another thing.
special circumstances.
I'm sorry I had to pee, so I didn't get to say this at the opportune moment. But, like, I was thinking about how she's complaining about, it's so uncomfortable, blah, 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 blah. I think performing music on such a level as they are should be equally as uncomfortable and difficult as it is to show up to shows like that. Because if you've ever been to a concert in your life, it's a fucking shit show.
Yeah.
It's always bad. It's always not fun. Everything's too expensive. It's just not a... Unless you really like the band, not really worth being there.
Right. No.
And I like a lot of bands that I've not gone to concerts with just because, like, I don't want to deal with that.
I've been to tons of concerts, and yeah, like, it's not really worth it unless you really care about something going on. There's a lot of chaos. A lot of bad organization. But organizing a large group of people is just incredibly fucking hard. And, like, any kind of festival pretty much is just benefiting off of the fact that if you put enough big names on a ticket, you can charge basically anything for that ticket because somebody with a lot of money wants to see at least one of those fucking bands. The fun part,
too, is as you get closer to the event, you can keep raising that charge because it's a scarce thing, or it's a scarcity thing. It's so silly.
The bigger the event, the more guaranteed it's going to be shit. Like, almost every festival, one night gets completely canceled because of rain.
If I ever have a music career, I'm only performing at national parks and only for people that are camping there.
Yeah. It'd be fun. Anyway. Yeah, whatever. Kana becomes the center. Literally, this whole episode is so fucking obnoxious.
This is a cute
Did we clarify that Paeon was on vacation and Aqua was just dressed up as Paeon?
And Kana even actually sees this.
She figures it out, and her reaction is like, "Oh shit, that was Aqua? Well, dang." And I'm like, "What the fuck, bitch? You're not even a little bit upset about the fact that you've been duped horribly?"
I'm curious if she thinks that Aqua is just Paeon, because when you first figured it out, you were like, "Wait, is Aqua just Paeon? Is he?"
Which wouldn't have made, like, I had forgotten until they show him again that, like, no, he's twice Aqua's size. The show gaslit me. The show gaslit me into thinking that it was possible because, I mean, you saw the drawing a few frames ago. That's not Aqua's size. He's drawn as being barely bigger than Kana most of the time. So again, was the costume, like, did it have, like, a frame inside it? Like, how built out was this thing? Like, he looked... But, again, Ruby explicitly says, "Oh, that looks like Aqua's frame. I didn't realize Paeon was so skinny and small like my brother." And that was what made me go, wait a minute, what the fuck? Like, none of them could tell that he's not the same guy? They cut to Paeon and he's fucking huge.
This show sucks.
It's very bad. Very, very bad. This episode, yeah, this is like a 2 or 3 out of 10 episode. This was very bad.
1 out of 10. This show, like, it has just continuously lost me over and over and over again. I don't know if I made it clear, but when I spoiled this show for myself with all of the concepts and where it's going and how it could, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna love this. This is gonna be really cool," because I thought they were gonna do it a lot fucking faster than they've chosen to do it. And I even get what they're doing. So, like, without spoilers, it is fairly obvious that Aqua is trying to set up the exact same idol group in the exact same circumstances that I was in, so that whoever killed I can come try to kill someone. Kana, I guess.
Great fucking plan, by the way.
Like, it's... And, you know... Aqua,
amazing plan.
It's a terrible plan, but Aqua, you know, he has plot armor, and he has plot armor for everyone he cares about, so he's just magically going to be there and show up and save her. Or whatever. But... with how this show has handled its first season, it's like you could have gotten halfway through the plot instead of just explaining how idol groups work over and over again. Anyone who's watching an idol show knows how fucking idol groups work. They don't need the intricacies of it explained to them, and I don't need the intricacies explained to me because I don't care.
No. This
is supposed to be a fucking detective anime, goddammit.
Alright, we got 2 more shows, I think, to cover.
Pokemon was great.
Solid fucking Pokemon once again.
I'm
continuing
so glad.
from the last episode.
I think from here on out, it's going to be pretty much just solid Pokemon, and I'm really happy with that.
You know, this show, my hope with it has been that because it is so fucking slow, that like it will have the space to really let the characters grow and like really expand the world and the lore. And this episode is starting to go in the direction I was hoping, where like as I said in the last one, I was so excited that they just introduced a giant fucking Pokemon, no explanation,
or Oliva,
something like that.
Anyway, so Oliva is, she's protecting all the forest Pokemon because the forest is burned down. And so Liko and Roy, or I think it's Liko's idea, basically just goes, oh, we just need to plant another forest.
Yep, let's fix it. As they start working on that, back on the
back
ship...
to Freed and, God damn it, what's his name?
The Rising Voltaggers.
Yeah, the Rising Voltaggers. But I used to know the other guy, the cooking guy's name.
Basically, they are like not able to get in communication.
No one's been able to get
with
any
kids.
service for quite a while. So they're like, what the fuck is going on? Why don't we have service?
Yeah.
And
Freed flies out and he's all worried, and they're like, "Oh, look at him. He's like a parent now."
Did you see a magneton flying above the city?
Yeah, I guess just a magneton was just hanging out, fucking up signals. So Captain Pikachu gives it a big shock and it goes away.
The fuck away. Like, wow, that's a really strange thing to do really quickly.
This is
but
my favorite thing in the episode, because like my favorite aspect of Pokemon is how like the world is constantly affected by the presence of Pokemon. It's like, hey, everything's kind of like our world, but what if Pokemon had something to do with why we came to all these conclusions? And like
Magneton's Japanese name is Rare Coil, and I
Coil.
remember learning that in the episode and thinking it was really cute.
So Rare Coil, like, again, this scene is essentially pointless. Like, it's basically just to give...
Well, it's just, hey, remember that problem we've been having for 2 episodes? Done.
Yeah. And it's mostly to get Freed to fly out to where the kids are so that he can... I guess to get the Voltaggers out there so that they can help with the situation. But, like, just the fact that they had the idea of, like, what if a magneton was jamming the signals, and then they had to deal with that first? Like, that's what brings me back to the feeling of this being more like classic Pokemon. We had kind of a formula for the first, like, 6 episodes, and then the formula got shaken up, and for a few episodes, it just kind of felt like a nothing burger. And then now it's starting to feel like, all right, adventure, action, mystery, like Pokemon causing problems that we have to solve, and like, how do we fix this forest? And
So Liko and
plot.
Liko and Yoha start gathering berries. I think the Chansey is helping too. But anyway, they're gathering berries, and Roy's and Hogator are using Stomping Tantrum to till the ground, and they go through a whole bunch of work. Eventually, Freed gets in contact with them and finds out what they need, and so he brings the old guy out to the field because there's no water. It's Paldea, and this time of year, I mean, it's 105 degrees with humidity. They're not going to deal. I mean, Paldea's just like Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's what I gotta say. So anyway, they bring the old guy out, and we get to see Quagsire. Oh, I'm so happy.
He brings out a Quagsire, does a rain dance. It's fucking adorable.
I desire the sire. Check out Zamseer if you have not heard of him. Anyway.
Hey, look, everything's fucking fixed. They did it. Basically, if they created the conditions under which trees could grow, then Oliva, I guess, can just instantaneously make those trees grow. So...
Which, I guess.
Sure, why not? It's pretty badass. I mean, it is a big Pokemon.
So after all this happens, after Oliva is happy, the turtle necklace comes out and starts interacting with Oliva.
This thing, like, creates a bubble around Liko and Roy.
And then they see a flashback to something.
They have, like, a vision in a pink mist of, like, the ultimate trainer saying something. It's very unclear. Again, this show is going to take its sweet fucking time to unveil anything. But we do learn some interesting lore. Also, here's all the Pokemon being cute. Skiddo's great.
Skiddo.
I don't remember what this thing's called. It's not a Curlia.
No, it's like Curlia Plus. I don't remember either.
All right.
So
here's the important part. So Liko's dad wrote these children books and sends them to
Roy,
the ship.
because Roy has such a fanboyness for
and
these
Roy's
books.
like, what the fuck, this is literally the book I grew up with. And so he's reading it and explaining how basically the story is that there was this legendary hero who had a team of 6 Pokemon, one of them being the Black Rayquaza, who traveled all over and did all this stuff.
Okay, so hang on. Based off of these Pokemon we're seeing right here, that's obviously Oliva. That's obviously Black Rayquaza. I would guess that's a Rapidash.
This looks like a Latios.
Well, so I was going to say, these two look like Latios and Latias, so that has to be what they are.
I think this one might be Moltres.
Oh,
I think it could be like a Latios,
Moltres, maybe a Golem.
They might all be legendary of some...
Well, but Oliva's not legendary. I think that's got to be a Rapidash.
What about
no, because that would be a... It could be a Lapras, but it's not watercolors. You know, it's like... It's got to be a ground type or something.
Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah, they probably are the colors of the type they are.
Anyway, I'm curious to see what the other 5 Pokemon are. I think it's fun that this season of Pokemon is really making sure that the show feels a lot like the games, in that you have to do the gym leader challenges before challenging the gym leader. And this is very reminiscent of, in Scarlet and Violet, the Titan Pokemon. And, you know, it's different circumstances, different stuff going on. But I also happen to know that the Scarlet and Violet DLC is about to come out, where the turtle Pokemon that Lico's amulet keeps turning into is a Pokemon you can catch. So I'm curious to see how that goes.
Oh, and we should clarify that, like, because in the last episode when Oliva was established, it has an ancient ball on its neck.
Yeah.
After they help it, it, like, puts itself in the ancient ball and gives itself to them, but they can't open it.
Yeah.
So it's basically like, hey, we got God in our pocket, but it only comes out when it wants to, you know? But
it's not even God. It's like Oliva's a grass
really
normal type. It's just big.
Pokemon. I mean, yeah, and contextually, the fact that we saw it literally raise a forest in seconds. It is a super Oliva at the very least. So this is Lico's mom,
who we've seen earlier in the Chatot. This parrot's name is Chatot, I think.
Yeah.
No,
that's not Chatot. That's a different guy. Basically, Lico's mom, it's heavily implied that she was the one who sort of
Squawkabilly.
Squawkabilly.
His name is Squawkabilly. I knew it was something cool.
Lico's mom seemingly was the one who taught Freed, and because he like refers to her as like sensei or something like that, and she is like just really interested in where this whole story that her daughter's embarked on is going to take her. I don't know why she doesn't interact with Lico when she's in town.
She explains why. She doesn't want to like be a mom too much and force Lico to have
She's fucking 12.
No, exactly. When this scene went on, I was like, well, it's very clear who the responsible parent is, which is the dad. That's not clear. But it's like,
no, she's too busy being a badass and crossing her arms.
We don't even know what she's doing, also. She implies, like, because Freed and her meet in a public place earlier in the episode, and she implies that it's a library, actually. It's literally a library. She implies that it's something dangerous. I don't know why.
So I guess she's trying to protect Lico by not involving her in whatever she's doing, maybe?
She is, though. She has the amulet. Like, Lico's mom goes, I was going to take that amulet back from her. But I'd rather just see what she does with it.
Yeah, fuck
like,
it. Let's see her do it.
My sister in Christ, there are literal terrorists after your daughter right now.
I think she was just shocked that the amulet was having a reaction, and so she's like, okay, well, I guess that she does need to have it.
Yeah, and so, this all kind of ties in with the scene that's overlapping over this, which is Roy and Lico calling Lico's dad and going like, hey, are those stories real? And he just went, I mean, a little bit, but they're mostly embellished. Yeah. And it's like, oh, so it's the grandma, right? This is the grandma?
So Nicholas Carr asks, is this show somehow related to the original Pokemon? I don't think so.
I don't think so at all. I had thought it might be, but now they've pretty much dispelled that entirely.
Yeah, the legendary hero, because it was implied at some point, in the book, the legendary hero is a guy. It's implied that it's a guy. But everything the show has said so far and shown has heavily implied that it's Lico's grandma. It seems really obvious, and in this episode it's made explicit that the dad embellished the story based on stuff that the grandma had told him. So like, yeah, it's definitely her. Like, he just invented a guy version of her to be the story so that it would be different enough from reality, I guess. But the kids have not figured this out yet. So yeah.
And they won't for 50 episodes.
No, probably not. But they are going to meet the grandma. For whatever reason, the Rising Volteckers...
Why haven't we done this yet?
They literally just say to Liko, like, hey, we got you back home. We did our mission. But now you're with us. What do you think we should do?
They go to
next?
Galar, because her grandma's in, like, some castle or something.
Yeah.
And, if you've played the Sword and Shield games, the map fucking sucks. But also, that it's very heavily themed on, like, medieval Britain.
Yeah.
Honestly, seriously, though, sorry, quick tangent. Sword and Shield is a lot of fun as a story, as a game and everything, but the idea of the fucking wild areas they did, I would be fine with that if the map itself was as entertaining as the wild areas, but, like, I don't want to... I try to complete the Pokédex in every game I've ever played, and I fail every single time. I've never done it. I never will, probably. But, like... And this does carry into Scarlet and Violet in a less offensive way to me. But in Sword and Shield, it's like literally there are 2 big areas that's where you catch all of the Pokemon. And you have to hit certain areas of those big areas at certain times of the day in certain weather conditions to catch some Pokemon. It's like, no. Just make it a little easier. Like, the Gimme Ghoul thing in Scarlet and Violet, where you just have to, like, collect, I think it's like 1,000 Gimme Ghoul coins or something to evolve him into Golden Go. That is offensive to me. I get it. Whatever. People are really going to play the game. Plenty of people got Golden Go, like, a day after the game came out. But, like, give me an easier path, I guess. I don't know. I can't believe I'm saying that sentence about a game, but it's literally a children's game.
The funniest thing about this Pokemon anime is that I think this is literally the only show we're covering right now that will still be going next season.
I'm happy, I'm
happy it's gotten better, for sure. And it's
Is this the last episode of Pokemon, or do we have another one?
The last screenshot, you mean? This is the
last
screenshot.
The last episode. Like, is this the last one for the season, or do we get another one after this?
What I'm saying is that it's not going to stop. It just goes.
Oh, so
there's been a new Pokemon episode every week for fucking 25 years
So there's a potential that there's a week of this podcast that we only talk about Pokemon.
No, because the new shows will start up.
Okay.
So
I don't know how anime works.
The next episode we do will be on the, well, let's see, what day? Today's the 25th.
Ellen Horizon responded in terms of the Gimme Ghoul thing. Spiritomb be like, and like, yeah, no, I didn't catch Spiritomb either. That's fucking, it's just a fucking pain in the ass.
So, considering that we originally had 11 shows for this season,
we're still deciding what we're going to cover next season.
So far, 5 of the shows have ended. So that means that next week we will have 6 remaining shows. I don't think any new anime will have started by next Saturday, which is the 1st.
What if
Kamikatsu, because it got pushed back so many times, will still be going the week after that.
Oh, fuck, right. You're right. I forgot that
Kamikatsu got skipped again.
I fucking hate twice in a season. Stop making the show. Just stop making the show.
We haven't even missed 2 episodes of this show this season, and this isn't even our main job. It's a little sad to see how much of all these anime have been disrupted this season. But yeah, Kamikatsu is going to run long enough that we will be talking about its last episode alongside a bunch of first episodes from the upcoming season, as well as the latest Pokemon that will have come out that week. But everything else should be ending next week, I think, unless anything else gets skipped. But Oshinoko, Hell's Paradise, fucking Mashal, is that it? What else? Oh, Dead Mount Deathplay. All of those will be ending their current season. And then, yeah, we haven't really figured out exactly what we're covering next season. I'm kind of thinking that there might not be enough new shows that are both popular and that we want to talk about.
So let me put it this way.
So we might end up watching something old and just, like, throw it in there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably going to happen. But we went through a lot of the shows that are going to be airing next season. And while a lot of them are not popular currently, I think as soon as those shows come out, we will be able to tell how popular exactly they are. Because there are plenty of shows that I want to at least give a shot to. And, you know, one episode's fine. We'll do that. And if I hate it, I will explain why I hate it.
Yeah.
And we will not cover it because Oshinoko was a mistake. But if I hate it so much, like Oshinoko, it might not be a mistake to cover it.
Yeah.
Anyway, we looked through all of them. There's plenty of stuff that's like cute. I think most of it that I saw was like cute or interesting. There's one show I can't remember what it's called, but it's like the Master Baker or Master Pastry Man or whatever.
Genius of Pastry.
I would really like to watch that because it gave me Wakako Kozake vibes. It's probably going to be more competitive, closer to Food Wars if I had to guess, but you know, there is a lot of stuff that I am interested in watching next season because I don't necessarily want to just revert back to old stuff except for bonus episodes, honestly. But I think it would be interesting, even if they're not necessarily popular, to cover them so that maybe they become popular. Yeah. Anyway, Skip and Loafer. This is the last episode of the show. I really want there to be a second season to the show. I need more Skip and Loafer. I can't rewatch this same arc over and over again, and I need the spiritual healing this show gives me.
It's so
because we didn't.
Nice.
So actually, to compare this show to Dangers in My Heart, which we've kind of been doing the whole season, and I've been doing in my head because it's the only slice of life anime I've ever seen, and they are somewhat similar. We didn't get really any, I will say, romantical development on Skip and Loafer's part. Yeah. It's kind of just they emotionally respect each other.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to the state of them being... None of the characters in this show have really entered a relationship. Yeah. There are like 3 or 4 suggested ones.
Well, yeah, this episode leaves you with like the vice president and the president like, oh yeah, of course they would date. Why didn't I think about that?
You've got the lesbian girls and you've got Skip and Loafer themselves. All of them are already... like they have better chemistry and are more interesting to me than most anime couples are. Like I don't really care if any of them explicitly hooks up, and I feel very differently now. Like a lot of anime, I have gotten mad at the characters for not fucking.
This show is really
just
good.
Fucking stick it in. These characters don't need to fuck. Like they have great healthy relationships there's no like obsessiveness. Yeah. There's no like, oh my god, I wish we were together. I wish he was holding me in my arms. They're just like, no, they're all really good to each other, you know.
The show is really good at portraying chemistry in a healthy way. Yeah. And I appreciate that a lot. Especially as we kind of like grow to have relationships with more people. Mm-hmm. It's really nice to just like, oh right, I never had, like, regular friends in high school. I just kind of was like, oh, hey, I've been sitting here reading a newspaper before school for an hour, and you've decided to come up and talk to me for some reason, even though I'm reading a newspaper. A fun fact about me, every day for, like, 2 years in high school, I would literally go get a coffee from Starbucks. It was a cold brew, no ice, no water, so it's just literally straight cold brew. It was multiple times referred to me as rocket fuel by the employees working at Starbucks, and I've tried to order it recently. You can't get it anymore. But I would also buy a newspaper. I didn't really care. It was just kind of fun to read. I would do crosswords sometimes. But it was mostly a social deflection mechanism to just, like... If you know, and it was a full-size newspaper, so you get it in quarters and you unfold it, and it covers your entire body. I was also wearing sunglasses. I was also wearing headphones. I could not have given off more. Please don't speak to me right now. I'm at school, and also I happen to be stoned most of the time, so I really wasn't trying to talk to people and let on that I was stoned, because I had to take the train to school, and I had to longboard to the train. And so I would usually leave the house with enough time to smoke a joint on the way to school. Now, that all being said, do not smoke weed if you are not of legal age in wherever the hell you are. Anyway, so I was just putting off so many don't talk to me flags, and like, they just kept coming up to me, and I guess fucking holding newspapers strange or whatever, but very much not the goal. I was just trying to kill time before I had to want to kill myself in high school. And looking back on it, I could have just been doing homework or something at that point that I wasn't doing, but I have a moral stance against homework, and it's a specifically me thing, because I do know that homework...
Me too.
Sure. I do know that homework helps some people, because it did seem to help both of my brothers, but for me it was just like, we spent an hour today learning how to do this, and you're having me do it again for realistically 2 hours? No, thank you. No, I got it. I understood it. Anyway, sorry, I've kind of been ranting about my school life
Yeah, Skip and Loafer, we left off on this fucking bitch who has been ruining Loafer's life, showing up at the school and confronting his mom.
She bullies his mom.
She bullies her out of the school.
It's so depressing. This bitch sucks.
She's
I really
the
don't like
worst.
her. And so when I said I don't want to have to watch this arc of Skip and Loafer again,
Yeah.
I would be fine with pretty much everything we've seen, except for this. This bitch sucks so much.
Okay, you say that, but that's what makes this episode so great.
I agree.
This episode way better than the rape revenge in Heavenly Delusion. This has one of the most satisfying comeuppances I have seen.
Well, because
in recent
Skip
memory.
doesn't even have to punch her.
No, so
Or sorry, Loafer.
this woman, she scares off Loafer's mom by saying like, "Oh, you're making your son act again."
And she didn't even know he was acting.
Yeah,
it seems
no,
like.
she had no idea. So she shows up. She's kind of bullying Loafer. Skip figures this out pretty quickly.
And then just, like, comes in and does a cute
inserts
little
herself.
pose. And then it cuts to, she is imitating an aardvark in their science textbook.
Yeah.
Because that is how aardvarks make themselves look scary. The face Skip is making, right? I mean, Skip is...
The way this scene plays out is the cutest shit I've ever seen. The girl comes in, she's being kind of mean. Skip kind of picks up on it, jumps in front, and then kind of says, like, you should really get in line, because you'll regret it if you have to stand in the line.
Which is great, because Skip wasn't being a fucking asshole to her.
Yeah, no, she's acting like she's just
actually
being nice.
diffusing the situation.
And Loafer just bursts out laughing because he realizes that she's doing the
aardvark
aardvark pose.
thing.
And the other girl not understanding why he's laughing and just feeling kind of left out by like the connection the two of them are expressing, feels like just totally put out. And then like she tries to tell the friend, because she showed up with the mutual friend of her and Loafer, and she's like, well, come on, we better get in line. And he's like, actually, I kind of wanted to talk to him. And he's like, she's fine, I'll go in line myself. And it's just like she's gotten so flustered because she lost so hard.
I have to imagine, I haven't read...
It doesn't understand why she lost.
I haven't read a lot of spoilers for the show or where the manga goes or anything, but I have to imagine, like, based on how this episode ends, is her name Ririka? Is that what it is? Whatever. Red-haired girl has to end up with Skip's fat friend, like, as a potential dating couple, because Skip's fat friend is clearly just into her.
Well, and he actually cares about her.
Yeah.
And Loafer, and, like, yeah, you get the sense that, if she wasn't just
obsessed with Loafer.
Yeah, and like just kind of dismissing him out of hand for not being like a sexy, like she obviously wants to be like, well, I'm a sexy cool person.
No, she's got the
so
same
I have
problem
to
as
be
the
with
other
sexy
red-haired
cool
girl.
person. Yeah, exactly.
Red-haired girls are a real problem. I don't know if you have any experience with that, but
this scene, so good. This is why, like, okay, this show needs more episodes. I raised my score to a 9 because even though I don't think the story really goes very far, everything I've seen I loved so much. Like, this show has the potential to be a literal 10 out of 10 if it went long enough and was still this good. There's a lot of drama that it could get into, and even then, I don't think this show's ever going to go for, like, even Sangatsu no Lion level of, like, oh my god, my emotions, what are you doing to me? Like, it's trying to be healing, it's trying to be nice. It's just a little bit deeper than your average slice of life anime. A little bit more human, a little bit more robust emotionally. And, for a while now, we've had this woman who's just been emotionally manipulating Loafer to make him feel bad about some shit that happened to them when they were kids. She bullied his mom. She, has been bullying him. And finally, he just realizes, I don't want to be a part of this fucking shit. And he says to her, like, I don't want to be in the self-destructive spiral you've put yourself in anymore. And she's like, well, it just sounds to me like you're just asking to be forgiven and do whatever you want. He's like, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's literally it.
Fuck it. Yeah, like, I mean
it's just so great.
If you're going to hold me to this forever, get the fuck out of my life.
This woman just literally keeps going like, oh, so you feel this way? He goes, yeah. Yep.
And she's like, you're a narcissist, just like your mom.
And he goes, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you say, bitch. You sound like you're projecting real hard with this narcissism thing. So yeah, she finally is just like, whatever, do whatever you
And
want.
she fucks off. Thank
Cut
God.
to bawling in the car. I was losing
I know, this was
my
great.
shit. I was just, cry, bitch, cry, you stupid
little
fucking
sister.
bitch, you dumb bitch, cry.
But, so she's crying, just basically going like, I feel like whenever I'm around him, he just doesn't even pay attention to me. And it's like, bitch, all we've seen of you is you being the worst human being possible to him. And we know that's not all of her as a character,
She totally
too.
admits, like, I've been a cunt all this time. Obviously, I don't want to be this way. I just don't know how to keep him in my life. Lose him.
Yeah, don't have him in your life.
Lose him. This was the most oddly satisfying scene of a character just getting, like I don't know. It's cute. It's still cute. Like, it doesn't abandon
she's
being cute.
This actually kind of redeemed the character for me. Is like, oh, she's actually a person.
Yes,
she's
it
not,
made her human.
Yeah. It's fine. It's cute. I hope Fat Guy gets with her.
Cry, bitch, cry.
And then
So funny.
we cut to the vice president and the president having a very cute moment of, just kind of explaining how they are.
There's a great moment where he just starts explaining his backstory, and she's like, inwardly, I did not ask. Like, that
was really funny.
She really thinks she hates this guy, even though she is developing a begrudging respect for him. And in this scene, it's very clear that he respects her, and like he almost feels bad about taking the position of president, but is like, look, you just gotta accept that I'm a natural at this, like. He's such an arrogant asshole. It's understandable why she doesn't want to like him, but they have a weird chemistry, and like they are both really good people, so it would be a fun relationship to watch develop. Oh wait, I skipped. Yeah, there's him saying, "Turns out I was way more popular than you, huh?" So and he can't help but make her.
He's
upset.
got stars around him, so it's very clearly from a place of innocence.
Yeah,
he's not trying to be an asshole.
Most of the end of this episode is just kind of
wrapping it up.
Hey, we're all still friends. We're all still hanging out. Life goes on. Nothing really. I mean.
Oh, buddy. Oh, bada. Oh, bada. Yeah. Life goes on.
It's a weird feeling of like we did conclude the most dramatic thing that had been set up this season was that girl bullying Loafer, and that is pretty much resolved now. Obviously, there's lots of places the story can go, but it does feel weirdly wrapped up. Like, there's not like a big lingering mystery. It just feels like there's a lot more that, like, I don't know, I could watch these fucking characters for a long time. I know the manga's not done, so, like...
I want to see more of the show. I
want it animated. Like, I want it to still be animated.
No, and that's the other thing, too, is, like, I'd kind of discussed this with you when we were watching it, is, I'm sure the manga is cute, but the anime it just seems so much better. It's such a better medium.
It's just that it's so good. Like, it's rare. There's certain people who always prefer manga, because they're like, most of the artistic expression is there, and I can consume it faster. I like anime more because when it's done right, it is so much more engrossing. Where like it pulls me away from myself to some extent. Where like even though I often think about the anime that I'm watching, like if I'm reading manga, it's so much more easy to get distracted because it's not a sound environment. You have to either listen to your own music or just listen to whatever sounds are naturally occurring in your environment, or maybe like read the character voices in your head and like try to create your own like sound, from the sound effects and everything. It's just not nearly as immersive as when an anime does pull you in with like amazing color design, amazing shot compositions and directing and timing and voice acting and music, and this show has all of that. Everything it does well.
This show,
it just needs
it's
more
gotta
episodes
be my favorite
to
this
really
season.
sink in. It's
I
definitely
think,
my favorite. This is my number one, Heavenly Delusion number 2.
Well, let me say, it depends on how Heavenly Delusion's last episode carries itself. Because
you mean Hell's Paradise?
I do, I'm sorry. But that Heavenly Delusion is also a contender. Hell's Paradise, Heavenly Delusion, Skip and Loafer, probably my top 3.
Same.
I feel bad comparing Skip and Loafer to the other two, just because they are so different. They're different genres. They're like, if it was easier to talk about anime without people being really silly about it, this would be my number 1 for like slice of life. I mean, it is my number 1 for slice of life that I've ever seen.
Yeah, it is an exceptional slice of life anime.
No slice of life anime has ever caught me to the point where I've watched more than 2 episodes of it.
Except for Bocchi the Rock, because we had to do it for a bonus episode.
That doesn't feel like slice of life to me.
Really?
I mean, I know it literally is, but it's like, no, I'm because Bocchi, while she is such a weird schizo mess, is like, and also most of the other bandmates too. They're like, no, we're going to be famous. Right. No, this is our goal in life. This is exactly what we want to be doing.
I guess
it's more of like a career thing.
I think Skip is determined to become.
Is Devil is a part-timer slice of life?
I would say so.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Slice of life in high school.
That one's more. So the line gets blurry with slice of life comedy, where like.
Also, that is one show we're definitely going to be covering next season. I'm so excited. Devil's a Part-Timer season 2. I can't believe it only took a season after I got back into watching anime for that to come out, because it was one of the first anime I watched.
Yeah, it's fascinating that that's about to happen after fucking more than 10 years.
I don't want to watch 4 seasons of anime, but Bungo Stray Dogs season 5 is coming out too, and I might do that on my free time just to catch up and tweet about it or something. I don't know.
You can do Jujutsu Kaisen on your free time if you feel like it too, because I don't want to watch that.
I do feel like doing that. No, I like Jujutsu Kaisen. You know, it's not as bad as Demon Slayer.
I don't want to watch or talk about it personally. I want us to do less shonen. Mashal and Dr. Stone are really fun, and I like
If
them.
I watch Jujutsu Kaisen, do we get to have like a bird's Jujutsu Kaisen corner?
Sure, yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, cool.
But yeah, this show is great. It was probably my favorite this season. Next week, Hell's Paradise will be the last like really great thing that we're wrapping up. But otherwise, so let's see.
Do we do it?
Mount Deathplay has another episode. Heavenly Delusion's over. Hell's Paradise is another one. That'll
Magical Destroyers is over.
Destroyers is
Mashal
over.
has another one.
Mashal has
Oshinoko has
another
another one.
Yeah.
It only got 11. Weird.
And Pokemon will still keep going.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
but because remember, Oshinoko had like a 4-episode first episode.
Yeah, that is true.
Wow,
man. We watched anime.
Thanks everybody for watching and listening. Let us know what you think we should do. Like, if there's an anime you think we should cover next season, let us know. If there's an older anime you think we should
just to let everyone know, aside from the older anime thing, we are definitely going to be covering I Got Reincarnated as a Vending Machine.
Yes, I want to do the Vending Machine show. I will probably do Mushoku Tensei because it's really popular with my audience, but we have to catch up on it. And we will probably cover the zombie, like 100 zombie whatever thing, because that's like the most popular original or new anime coming out. It's mostly fucking sequels next season, and I don't want to have to catch up on a bunch of shit that's not going to be that popular anyways. So unless you guys are like really adamant that we need to check out certain shows, I'm not trying to cover a ton of anime next season. If we only end up with like 5 shows to cover, I will just fill us in with like 3 or 4 slots of older anime that I know people want us to talk about, like a Revolutionary Girl Utena or something, which I really want you to see.
See, I like where you're coming from, but I also like people paying us money to watch those shows.
See, the problem is that Revolutionary Girl Utena is 39 episodes long. It would have to win a poll 3 months in a row, and it would take up so much of our bonus episodes.
So
there's tons and tons of 12 and 13 episode shows that people are definitely going to keep paying us to do for bonus
then
episodes.
That's fine. I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah.
My question is, we're kind of nearing the end of what I would consider the first season of We Watch Anime.
There's 1 episode left in this season.
So
this is the penultimate episode of the spring season.
I'm just gonna toss up a question for you to think about. You don't have to really answer it right now, because next season or next week is really going to be the ending. But like, how do you feel about the first season of We Watch Anime? What would you change? What have we done well? What have we done bad?
We should really address that in the
next episode. I'm just throwing it out there so you think about it.
Yeah, for sure. Well,
and
let
so
us
that
know,
you viewers,
audience, let us know how you have felt about this first season of We Watch Anime. Less so like which episodes were good and bad. We understand. We were tired some nights. We hated anime some nights. We loved
Well,
anime.
that's not a
some
negative.
nights.
Anime sucks sometimes.
It does. We just want to know, like, overall, what did you think? What could be different? Yes, we know we eat into the mic a little too often.
You can say me. It's not you.
I ate a whole pizza tonight. I don't know what you're talking about.
Fair enough. Hey, whoever's editing this, can you just like make those sounds obnoxiously loud? Because I got one complaint about eating once, and I'd
And
really.
now you want to eat as loud as possible forever.
Oh yeah. Anyway, this has been a really fun episode. I mean,
yeah,
the last
episode was
episode.
good. This was 3 hours and about
Yeah.
8 episodes of anime, so it must have been pretty alright.
When it's good, we have a lot to say. When it's bad, we have sometimes a lot to say, but usually less to say.
Next week we only have 5 shows to cover, unless I don't think any new shows are going to be out by next week. So.
Look, next week I'm so happy that we get to have a relatively relaxed, workload in terms of this.
Our bonus episode might even be able to come out by then.
I mean, I think we could
Edgerunners.
if we do it right, we could probably record it right before or right after we do.
We'll find out.
Yeah,
No
we'll find out. No
announcements.
promises, no nothing. Hey, give us money. Have I mentioned that? We like
Yeah.
money. If you
Backed
want
by
us to,
Patreon.
if you want us to do this more, if you really like what we're doing here, money backed by /
Let me quit my physical labor job.
That is not our link on Backed By. Can you
Backed
backed by
/ we - watch - anime.
and yeah,
And
Patreon.
patreon.com / golden witchfire.
All right, we've watched anime.
Anime
We've
Forever.
talked about anime.